to catch the super heavy booster at the launch tower, as well as
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switching downrange. Field roller pitching down nominal.
Booster Raptor, chamber pressure nominal.
30 seconds into the flight, the rumble's just starting to reach us here at launch control.
Booster and ship, avionics power and telemetry nominal.
33 Raptor engines.
Max Q. Field course.
All right, we're just a little over a minute into flight.
Dynamic pressure.
We're about
pressure, the most stress
6 miles away, so all the sound's still hitting us here. Hearing good call outs that power telemetry nominal, that's flying straight and true. We do see all 33 Raptor engines lit up on telemetry screens.
All right, our next
point,
major
we've
milestone
passed
coming
through
up.
that
It's
point
going to
of
be hot
maximum
staging. We're
aerodynamic
going to
pressure, that
see the
max
engines
Q.
ignite on ship to push it away from the booster.
Now, coming up in just a little over a minute from now is going to be hot staging. So we're going to see the 6 engines on the ship ignite while still attached to the booster. Just before that, we'll see all but 3 center engines on the booster shut down. And
Right,
we
so
call
hot
MECO,
staging
it's
is gonna
most
be the
engines
next thing
cut off
coming
instead
up.
of main
First, we're going to
engine.
see the booster's engines start to shut down.
And so while we continue to watch it go up, a lot of our flight controllers looking at all the systems around the tower. Again, we have to send
cut off because 3
a
are
manual
keep going,
command.
and then we're going to see the engines on ship ignite.
Just about 30 seconds away from hot staging.
Right now, the tower team is doing their go, no go. And we might hear some really good words soon, too. All right.
And we heard
And still see it up
We heard
behind
the
me. That is one
tower
of the most gorgeous
is go
things
for
I've ever
catch.
seen in my entire life.
the return
hot
flag
staging
is set for
next.
true.
Ship engine start
Most
up.
engines cut off.
Stage separation. Stage separation. Booster.
Stage separation.
All right, hot staging
Stage
confirmed. 6 out of 6 lit
separation
on the ship.
confirmed.
Booster boost back going. We heard that we are go for catch.
Ship under its
Kate
own
Jesse,
power.
take it the
I'm
views.
seeing
Hopefully I got a
6 out of 6
booster
Raptors lit.
coming home real soon.
Hopefully I got a booster
From
on the way
RV
back
here,
to me. I'm
Dan,
going to send it to you guys in
great views of
Hawthorne.
planet Earth behind that super heavy
That was
booster.
absolutely
right now it is
incredible. I loved
performing
how
the
the crowd
boost back burn.
Nominal.
Crowd
Good
here in
news there,
Hawthorne
telling us
all went,
that
"Ooh,"
the
at the
pressures
first view of the
inside
blue flames
the ship
from
are
the
good.
booster.
That is the second
As you
stage
can
or
see
the upper
there,
portion of the vehicle. Follow along with the telemetry on the bottom of your screen.
Currently performing, or
Yeah, booster is
now making
currently,
its way
super heavy, is
back
currently
to,
in its
the
boost
launch
back
site.
burn. This
Again,
boost
we
back
are-
burn,
Power telemetry nominal.
this
the
boost back
booster
burn
and
lasts
the tower
just
are
a
both
little bit
performing
over
automated
a
checks to
minute.
make sure
So
we
we've
are
got
go
a
for the
little,
booster to return
approximately
to the
30 seconds left.
We've had shutdown of that boost back burn. Up next will be hot stage jettison. The view from the camera on the left, or from the booster on the left-hand side of your screen,
We did hear
and then
that the
tracking
tower
camera
is
on the
go
right
for
side of your
catch,
screen.
so that
You'll
was
see
one of
those
the
grid
big
fins.
criteria we were looking for.
And we can also see that the hot
view
stage
Wait to
has
hear
been
that
jettisoned.
the-
Yes, visual
we'll wait to
confirmation
hear
of that there
the
on your
go
screen, which
for
is great.
catch has been sent.
Now the next
Starship is following a nominal trajectory.
Beautiful view here from
The next
the
step,
ship.
the booster is going into that landing burn. Again,
And
it'll light
so
up
exciting to
13 of
hear
those
that
engines,
we got a
and
go
then
for booster catch. That means it's going
pare
to be a
down
really
to 3
exciting morning.
engines right before
Again, the
booster catch.
is
All right, now just
making
real
its
quick,
way
we did hear the
back
call out,
towards,
boost
now
back, or
land,
excuse me,
in
booster
order to
offshore
make
divert.
that catch
Unfortunately, that
attempt in the
means
tower.
that we are no-go for the catch. As we said before, both the
So
tower
incredible to
and the
see these
vehicle,
views. You can
as
see
well
the ship
as
on the
the
right-hand side of your
operators on
screen.
console,
All
have
6
been
Raptor
actively
engines are,
evaluating the
under
commit
full
criteria
power.
for that return to the
Once
launch
again,
tower.
the ship,
And
the booster
unfortunately,
is making its
we
way
did not have a
back
pass
to
on those
the
commit
launch
criteria.
site.
So we were no-go
going to
for
try
tower
and
catch.
it using the chopsticks
And we did
on
mention
the
that
launch tower,
we're
the exact same
constantly
tower that it just
evaluating the
launched from
criteria for
just,
catch. There's a
wow,
lot
5
of things
minutes
that need to
ago.
go well in order to line that up. Unfortunately, today we will
Starship,
forego
nominal
booster
trajectory.
catch today.
I can
But
confirm
what you're seeing on your screen
command
is
was
ship
sent to
currently
come back.
making its way towards
That is
the Indian
incredible.
Ocean. Still
Looking
looking
up right
good
now.
so far.
Exactly.
It's pretty much
So views
right
there
overhead
of
us,
the
and we can
booster
see it
on
starting
the
to
left-hand
come
side
down.
of your screen, views of the ship on the right-hand side of your screen.
I can't wait for
Now, we
us
said
to hear the
before
sonic
that
boom
it was
through
not
Dan's
guaranteed
mic.
that we would be able to make a,
That is going to be
a tower catch
incredible. It
today.
was so cool to hear
while
the
we were
liftoff.
hoping for it, like we said, it
And
was pretty
so once
epic on
again,
attempt one, but
a
the
successful
safety
on-time
of
liftoff
the
of
teams
Starship
and the
Flight
public
5.
and
The ship,
the pad
has
itself
separated
are
from the booster. The
paramount.
booster's
So
there on
we
your
are
screen.
accepting
It is
no
making its
compromises
way
in any
back
of those
to
areas.
the launch site.
Exactly,
We are
and we're still going to get a lot
the
of
catch
good
using the
flight
chopsticks. We
data
did hear
with
the
booster
confirmation
even, but
that the
especially with
command
ship.
was
Again,
sent
we have an
to the
additional
tower.
objective today to
We
do
are go
an
for catch.
in-space relight of a Raptor engine,
And in
which
order
again
to-
will
Guys,
help
we
us
should just
set us
be
up for
about 30
being able to do
seconds
deorbit burns,
away.
which
It's going to happen in 3 phases.
which is important
We're
for
landing
orbital
13
flights. And
engines,
what you're
burning
seeing
all that
on your screen is a
velocity.
view
You can see it
from
coming down
Super
through the
Heavy
plume.
as it's making its way back down to Earth.
Yeah, once again, we are attempting an offshore landing of the Super Heavy booster. So we have seen this before, and it is still very fun to watch, watching it come down for a soft splashdown off the Gulf Coast of Texas.
On the left
You can see it
hand.
there re-entering. We saw earlier those grid fins were for hypersonic defense, but we can see that the landing burn has begun on the Super Heavy booster.
And same pattern, 13 engines will light, gone down to 3 just as we expected. And what an incredible view of splashdown that we got today of Super Heavy.
Yeah, I'm sure the buoy cam views will be pretty awesome once again. So we'd like to confirm a water landing once again for the Super Heavy booster. Congrats to the SpaceX team for making that milestone as well. Now, ship continues to look good. We can see that it is, while all of that was happening, down here in Hawthorne, continuing to react to all these amazing views that we're getting. The next milestone is
we're losing our stuff up here.
great news there. Starship terminal guidance, referring to what we see here on the screen, the upper stage. At about 8 minutes 35 seconds or so, we have ship engine cutoff, which would be the cutoff of the Raptor engines.
Still going wild over here over this.
Folks, this is a day for the engineering history books.
We can see on our screen ship giving us some incredible
This is
views
a live
brought
view
to us by
of the Super Heavy
Starlink.
booster as it has just
This view
been
is also very
successfully
interesting
caught
because we
back
can
at the
see
very same
basically
launch tower that
the
it
receding
just came
tile
from.
line that we
Dan,
referred to
I
earlier,
love this.
where we mentioned
You
we
are
have
reflecting
removed
exactly
a number
what
of
everybody
heat shield
else here in
tiles in order
Hawthorne,
to test out
except maybe a
and
little more
push the
because you get to see
envelope
with your
on
own
the ship and
eyes.
demonstrate what
How
its
was
capabilities
that?
are.
We got it. I mean, like,
And there we just heard call out for SECO, ship engine cutoff.
I can't even.
Great news
describe
there.
that.
Everything
By the way,
continuing to
ship,
look
main
awesome
engine cutoff,
for
ships in
ship.
orbit, but
Full view looking aft on ship
I am
here.
like shaking right now. That was.
This is not,
Yeah,
I mean,
let's
it's
check in on ship.
it's hard to believe that.
Starship,
There's that call out we were waiting for.
Oh, right.
Confirmation
Exciting
of
news there.
good
It's hard to
orbital
believe
insertion
that, you know,
for ship
booster
today.
isn't the only excitement that we have today.
It has been a
Confirmation there,
very
a gorgeous
exciting
view of planet
afternoon
Earth
so far.
behind
We'd like to
ship.
send it back over to
And
Dan,
it's
who can
now
give us that
in the orbit that we expected it
live
to.
view experience.
This is just
Dan,
an incredible
once
day.
again,
Live
are you
views there.
okay after
Has the
witnessing
booster vents,
another Starship
some
launch?
pressures there. That is a live view from
totally
the top of the
fine.
tower, looking at the chopsticks.
I
You guys
am
have to be
still in
jealous. This is the
disbelief.
only
I'm
way
trying
to
to
do
catch
this.
my
This is
tears, just
fantastic.
like
No, it was
the
really cool to see it lift
chopsticks
off
caught the
33
booster.
out of 33. Didn't go
has
for the booster
been
catch today.
nonstop
Initially, we were good, and then we tripped a commit criteria. and did the offshore divert. So we went and did that water landing, as everybody saw. We'll dig into it a little bit more, but again, we've done it once, we've now done it twice. We're going to keep trying to do it, as this is just a core capability of Starship and what's going to make it so incredible. There's a lot left. We're just about almost 10 minutes into this flight. So about 50 plus minutes still to go. Ship nominal orbit, so it's on its way around the planet. It's going to attempt to do an in-space burn. We're going to light one of those Raptor engines, the sea level ones in the middle, just to help demonstrate that we can relight in that microgravity environment. Really critical for deorbit burns as we start to do some orbital missions in the not too distant future. And then following that, we'll see a ship entry, maybe a splashdown. As you guys said, we're really going to be pushing ship on this one. We're pretty much intentionally putting it in places where we expect it might not do so great, and all that's to try and help us learn, see if we were a little too conservative, and then maybe that opens up more capability for when we start catching them. But I'll check back in with everybody in a little bit. I'm going to tune in and watch the ship fly around planet Earth, and hopefully we see it re-entering in the not too distant future. Back over to you guys.
Thanks, Dan. Development testing, by definition, is unpredictable, which we saw with Super Heavy splashing down in the Gulf of Mexico today, but that is exactly why we test. As is standard for these tests, the area around the pad and along the flight path was cleared prior to launch, and we expect the road and beach to remain closed until further notice.
Yeah, testing development flight hardware in a flight environment is what enables our teams to quickly learn and execute design changes and hardware upgrades to improve the probability of success in the future. Please do not attempt to approach the booster in the water for your safety as well as for that of our team that will be working on recovery. Now, we are going to continue though. The mission is not done.
Exactly. The mission's not over. Ship is still coasting, but it has been nonstop since liftoff, and with the booster having completed its job for the day, we are going to take a short break for the next 35 minutes or so while ship continues to coast before re-entry. Now, as with previous flights, Starlink may enable us to talk to the ship through re-entry with no communication blackout. Now, we are still testing Starlink during this phase of flight, so nothing is completely certain.
Yeah, so if we do have views, we will be sure to bring those to you live. And of course, one of those views include that of our, as we said before, surprise payload, the banana. And we are looking forward to it. So we're going to come back in a few minutes, around T plus 35 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Views or no views, we'll see you back here at T plus 40 minutes for our coverage of Starship's re-entry, flip maneuver, landing burn, and hopefully see a splashdown.
about 35 minutes into today's flight test, continuing to get some live views from Starship itself as it continues to make its way around the globe. We are coming up on what we will hopefully see is our in-space relight demonstration. This will be firing up one of those 3 sea-level Raptors on the very aft end of the ship and essentially reigniting it while we're in that microgravity environment in Earth orbit. We had attempted this once previously on Flight 3, but ended up skipping it when we had some attitude control issues with the ship. And we are on the dark side of the planet right now, so views are going to be a little bit dark, but hopefully we see some engine light come on as we do this relight test. This is a pretty critical capability for doing deorbit burns. This is not a deorbit burn. I want to stress that we're on a trajectory where if we didn't fire off the engine at all, we are definitely coming home. Ooh, seeing some thunderstorms down on the ground. That's pretty cool. But this is not a deorbit burn. If we didn't fire this engine, we're on a intentional suborbital trajectory. So no matter what, we're coming in over the Indian Ocean. Firing off the engine does change your exact splashdown point a little bit, but we've got this keep out zone across the entire Indian Ocean that we made sure was clear ahead of flight, and we continue to monitor during, but we're going to aim for that and hopefully see this relay test coming on in about a minute. It's just going to be one of these engines, and it uses what's called the header tank, so these small spherical tanks in the very top of Starship up in the nose cone. They don't require nearly as much gas to pressurize as your main tank, so they're really useful for any in-orbit maneuvers, and then for landing burn. So if we make it to a landing burn today, we'll be using them for that as well. So we should be coming up in just about the next minute. It should be under a minute now away from that expected ship burn. And again, we've relit Raptors pretty frequently. We just did it with the landing burn and that boost back burn on the booster, and we've done it on ship landing burns. We just haven't done it in this microgravity environment where your propellant management and a lot of other things are different, as you're not really down with the force of Earth's gravity.
And
Just heard the call out for startup. There's some light. There's that Raptor relit. And shut down. All right, there you have it. The first time ever lighting a Raptor while in outer space, other than our asset burn. So really cool to see that relit. That's a pretty critical capability that we're going to need when we're doing orbital missions in the not too distant future. So check another one off. That was a really cool. That was an objective we really wanted to hit on this one, and so good to see ship knock that one out in orbit. But for now, we're going to coast for just a little bit longer, and then it'll be time for ship entry. So we'll get the usual light show as we return from hypersonic velocities. We're just starting to do the entry prep for that, so we're going to get the flaps positioned, and then it's going to start taking the brunt of all of that heat as you're coming in from well in excess of 10,000 miles an hour. That's all going to build up a lot of heat as you're encountering an increasing atmosphere, building up that friction, and we're going to see how the tiles fare. We've also got some pretty cool tile experiments that we'll talk about in a little bit, but coming up real soon, ship re-entry, successful relight, and we'll start this entry part soon.
Welcome back to Starship's 5th flight test. It has been an exciting day so far. Even the crowd here is still so excited. We lifted off from Starbase at 7:25 a.m. Central Time. The Super Heavy booster and ship had a successful separation, as well as a good boost back burn and good separation of the hot stage adapter. The Super Heavy booster then completed the landing burn with 13 Raptor engines igniting and slowing down the vehicle perfectly from Mechazilla to catch the Super Heavy booster for the first ever land recovery of the vehicle.
We still have, in about 48 minutes, the ship will re-enter. The flap, all the flaps that will today, not that could. The ship will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. Now, as a reminder, one of the main goals of today's test flight is for the ship to make it through the extreme heat of re-entry and to do so in a controlled manner. We learned a lot about this phase during Flight shield, but more on all that in just a minute. Now, re-entry is typically a portion of flight where we don't have communications with the spacecraft because re-entering, it'll be re-entering at about 8 kilometers per second, or about 5 miles per second, roughly orbital velocity. Now, those speeds, the spacecraft moving through the atmosphere results in friction and creates a plasma field around the vehicle. We saw this in action on Flight 4 thanks to Starlink, and wow, it was breathtaking. The blanket of plasma ends up distorting communication frequency, so it's not uncommon to experience brief blackouts in communication, but hopefully that's not the case today.
And Kate, that's where Starlink has just kind of been just the unsung hero and the MVP of this test campaign. I mean, it's able to give us data, not just awesome video, but also data in real time as we're going through re-entry. I mean, this is something that throughout the history of spaceflight just hasn't been possible. And this is an environment that is so unforgiving, so hard to model, so hard to understand. And for the first time ever, we're able to literally watch as it unfolds in real time, get that data in real time. And we're able to do that with Starlink. And it's great for us because we get to see something, we get to see the greatest light show on the planet or off the planet. But what it means for this program, we're able to learn tremendous amounts about our heat shield, our angle of attack, everything that we're doing as we're coming in through the atmosphere at hypersonic speeds. And you can't just thank it enough. And also, special shout out, you're going to see some additional flap camera views. We've got a really amazing team of avionics, cameras, electronics, software people who made all that possible.
Starship is at 100 kilometers altitude.
They're going to give us
Attitude for atmospheric entry.
on the way in today as we're coming in at about 5 times the speed of sound.
Yeah, those flaps, Dan, that you see there, that's what's helping.
Starship is in a good attitude for entry, approaching the entry interface.
Some good call-outs there, preparing for re-entry for Starship. And again, that's what Dan was mentioning, those flaps on the vehicle. And if you've been watching us for the last few minutes, you could see that the flaps were rotating around and helping orient the vehicle as it prepares for the beginning of re-entry today.
Yeah, exactly. Re-entry will be enabled by that heat shield that you see on the bottom half. That heat shield is made up of 18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles, and they are designed to insulate the vehicle during atmospheric entry. At that point in time, temperatures can be as high as 26,000 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 1,400 degrees Celsius. The design itself also permits for rapid reuse with no refurbishment between the flights. And fun fact that I think is just incredible in terms of scale, but the heat shield alone on the ship has a total mass of 10.5 tons, which is crazy because these things are really lightweight. They're made out of ceramic. We have a couple of them here. The one that I'm holding is used on flat surfaces, as you go that way, because as it's flat. The one that Jesse has is kind of more what you see there on the side.
Yeah, exactly. And having these different shapes, the flat version and the curved version, allow us to cover a lot more of the surface area of the vehicle. Again, you need to protect every portion of it, so even those curved surfaces, and especially the hinge area, if you watch Flight 4, is really what we want to make sure that we protect. And yeah, Kate, these are very, very lightweight.
But when you put 18,000 of them together, they add up to 10.5 tons, which is incredible. Now, we did mention earlier that the heat shield has been completely reworked.
Starship has entered the atmosphere, remains on a nominal entry trajectory.
we can start to see that plasma
Welcome
now
back
starting
to
to build up
Starship
on the
6
side.
test
It's not
flight.
quite full
It
plasma
has been
yet,
an exciting day
but
so
we
far. We
are
lifted off from
starting to see
Starbase
that
at 4
color
p.m.
indicate,
Central Time.
that the heat
Super
is
Heavy
building
booster
up
and
on
ship
the
had a
heat shield.
successful separation as
This
well as
is
a good
such
boost
a
back
cool sight
burn
to see, 'cause
and
really
good separation of the hot
never
stage
really have
adapter.
gotten to see this
We did
live
not
before,
attempt a return to the
before
launch
flight,
site and catch
Flight 4.
a test
Yeah.
today when strict
and
criteria
as
were not
Kate
met,
mentioned, it's
and the
getting,
Super Heavy
a
booster
little more
executed
red,
a
as you can see
planned
there on your screen. That
divert
means that
to
heat
a
is
landing
building
burn
up.
and
But
soft
that's exactly what
splashdown
these
in the
heat
Gulf of
shield tiles
Mexico.
are there for, is to
Yeah,
protect
obviously
against
we were
this
hoping to come
plasma,
back to the
this
tower,
really,
but
really
this was a
extreme heat
test
that
and
the
we knew
vehicle is going
that
to
it was a
see
very
for
viable
about the
possibility.
Starship is at 85
10 more
kilometers.
minutes or
Flaps
so.
now have control of the
Yeah,
vehicle.
so the ship will
All right, great
attempt
news there,
to
turning our
light
attention
the 3
over to
center
the
Raptor
star
engines,
of the show
and
here,
those are the
giving us
engines
these
that can
amazing
gimbal
views once
or
again.
maneuver or
We
point,
heard the
and
call
they
out
do
there
that
telling
to help
us that
flip the ship
the Starship vehicle is
until
now
the
83
engines point
kilometers
down,
above,
so that
coming
it
up
can
around
land
T
using the
plus,
Raptor's thrust in the ocean.
Well, now,
so that
actually,
will happen
the
after we
ship,
get
as you can
through
see,
this
is beginning
re-entry
to
period.
re-enter the
Again,
Earth's
now
atmosphere.
starting to see. And we also
As a
might
reminder,
start to
one of the
see
main goals
the
of
flaps
today's flight test
actuate a little
is
bit
for
here,
the ship to make it
as
through the
vehicle
extreme
controls
heat
its
of re-entry
role,
and to do
during
so in
re-entry.
a
That was one of
manner.
the main learning
Now,
points
re-entry
from
is typically a
Flight
portion
3
of flight where we
was
don't
the
have
roll control
communication
didn't work quite
capability
as well as
with
we wanted it
the
to. We
because
learned that we
it's
needed some
re-entering at or
redundancies,
around
so we
orbital
added more
velocity,
roll
which
control
is
thrusters,
roughly
and we'll see
8
those in
kilometers
action
per second
as well
or
today,
about
as
5
that was a Flight
miles per
3
second.
learning
Now,
that
at
worked
those
better on
speeds,
Flight 4
pretty fast.
and still
The
enabling that
spacecraft
same
is
design
moving
today.
through the atmosphere
Yeah.
Starship has passed through
rather
85
quickly,
kilometers
and
altitude.
that results
Flaps now
in
have control of the
friction,
vehicle.
as we can see that starting to happen
call
on our
out, as Kate
screen,
mentioned,
and this
the flaps
creates
are
a plasma
controlling
field
the attitude
around
of the vehicle. And I love these views
That
because
blanket
it looks
of
so
plasma
calm.
distorts communication frequencies.
Everything
so
is relative,
it's
right?
not
So
uncommon
relative
to
to this camera on the
experience
ship, it looks
brief
so calm and
blackouts
smooth.
in
The vehicle is
communication.
traveling extremely fast. You can see the speed on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Starship is designed to land on
Starship is
Mars
approaching
where
the
there are
peak
no
heating phase of
runways
entry.
or other humans to help out. So we also want rapid reusability. So we're doing
And we just heard
propulsive
we're getting
landing
into
instead of
the
a more
peak heating
traditional
phase.
means
We're
like
getting these
parachutes.
views
And so
courtesy
we
of
will use the
Starlink. We've
engines
got
on
4
this
different
vehicle to help
terminals
slow
on
the
the
vehicle
ship
down for a
itself.
vertical landing.
It's
Yeah.
what's really
Now,
allowed us to
entry
get
is going to
real-time data
basically
during
happen in
what's
5
otherwise
phases.
been just
The first is
a
low drag
mystery
that
box,
lasts for
essentially,
about
for
3
spacecraft
minutes.
design,
Next
where
is
when you're
high
re-entering
heating,
through the
and that
atmosphere,
beginning
at least
when heating
getting
increases
anything in real time hasn't
above
ever been
the
possible before,
heat rate
but we're
breakup
able to
limit.
not just get these
That
views, but
lasts for about
real-time
10
telemetry
minutes.
from the
We
ship
then have
as it's
high
coming
dynamic
through.
pressure. Starship will continue to
do
slow down and experience
really wanna
increased
stress
aerodynamic
that
loads
we
during
are-
that phase.
we are really pushing
and
the
that will
ship
happen
today.
before reaching Mach
The
1,
heat shield
about
is
a minute
not in the
after.
same
Starship is approaching
configuration
the
as it
peak
was
heating
last
phase of
flight,
entry, remain
where
on a nominal
we had a
trajectory.
team of ship techs
Okay, so
do
that was
just
phase
an
2 that he just
otherworldly
called out
task,
that I
replacing
was
the
mentioning.
entire
After
heat
peak
shield,
heating is that dynamic
thousands
pressure
of tiles,
around
installing
Mach
a backup
1,
ablative,
and that will last
pretty
about
much
a
set
minute
us up
after
to
leaving
do
the
a
hypersonic
pinpoint landing
area,
on
and
flight
then we go
5.
into subsonic.
We did not do
and then,
that
of
with
course,
this one.
landing burn.
We have
Wow,
some
what an
backup in
incredible
those
view.
really sensitive areas around the flap.
The colors
but this
are
is
so
an older
amazing,
generation heat
and
shield.
the colors actually
And
also tell
knowing
you a
we
little
weren't
bit
gonna
about the
do that,
temperature
we even
that the
went
vehicle
and
is seeing
removed
as well.
some
So I
extra
think that's pretty
tiles.
cool that
There
we
are
get
some
this
missing tiles on the
amazing
nose
live
cone
visual.
where we're testing some
Speaking of live
backups.
visual,
There
the
are some
flap,
steel-covered
we have
tiles
more
in a
views,
couple of
more
different
cameras
spots,
on board
and there's also
Starship, as
a
Dan
whole lot
mentioned a
more
few
steel
minutes
of the
ago.
ship showing,
We
as
are hoping
you
that
guys talked
all
about.
4
We gave it a
flaps
little bit of a
will
haircut,
stay
couple
more
hundred
intact than they
tiles,
did last time. We
trimmed
did
off
make
the
some
sides,
changes
and
to the
that's where
design
we
in
might
order to
have
help
catch
enable
Starship
this.
is now experiencing peak
Color,
heating.
color's
remains on
starting
a
to come
nominal
in.
entry
It looks like
trajectory.
things are going to start heating up, Kate and Jesse.
Yeah,
Great news
fun
there
fact, Dan, we
that
actually
Starship
removed
is continuing along the
2,100
path
heat
that
shield
we
tiles
intended it to
from
fly.
Starship in order to
We're gonna keep track
basically
with how
present
fast
that
it's going
necessary
and how
receding
high
line, which
it
you
is
kind of
above
can see
Earth
there in
using
your view.
the
Think back to
display that
previous
is there on
flights.
the bottom
the
right-hand
heat
side
shield
of your
line
screen.
came up further on the vehicle, and just like Dan said, we want to
this is
test
where
the
we're really
vehicle
gonna see a
beyond
lot of those
what we think
improvements
it is
from
capable
Flight 4
of
really come
carrying
into
based on our
action, is
simulations and
you guys kind of
calculations.
talked about, so it's called
So
the
once
static
again,
arrow.
to
Those are
just
kind of the
be
poke out
super plain,
points on the
don't be
flaps.
surprised if we
Those
see
get
some
exposed to some
wackadoodle
pretty
stuff
extreme
happen
heat
here.
environments, and so we added some
we won't be. There are a number of things
made it
that
a
we
lot
are
more
testing
robust
out
for the thermal
intentionally
protection
to
there.
see
And
what the
we
ship
learned
can take.
Not just
Yeah,
from
exactly.
visuals
And
and
knowing
stuff
what
like
those
that,
limits
we
are
had
will
those
really
missing
help
tile
us
tests on
design
Flight
the
4 where
vehicle
we
of the
intentionally left
future.
some out and kept
Essentially,
in
removing those tiles
some
helps us
backup
remove a lot of
layers.
weight
They're
from the
called
vehicle, a lot of
ablateds, which
things that
means
might
they just
potentially need
gradually melt
refurbishment in the
away to
future.
help dissipate the
And the
heat.
goal is
And
to
we've got
come up
an
with a
entire
heat
layer
shield
of ablative
pattern or
underneath the
design
tiles
that
on
we
this-
don't
on
have
this
to
Starship
refurbish.
today.
We can
So
just continue to use
even
it
if
over and over again,
you
and
get a
that's
gap
why
in a
we're
tile or a
changing
tile
some of those
broken,
tiles and
anything like that, we've
moving
got
stuff around,
usually backup
removing a lot of
options.
those tiles,
And what we're
as
really
Kate
trying
has
to
been
do
mentioning.
today
Exactly.
is
And, looking
do
forward
an
to the
on-target
Starship capability of the
landing. As
future, we
lost
want to be able to catch
the flaps,
Starship
you lose a lot
like
of your
we do
control,
with
and so we didn't
boosters.
land
And
right
so
on
the next
target
flight,
last flight.
we
This
want to
time
better
we're trying
understand
to really
where
nail
we
the
can
target,
install catch
within
hardware.
just
Not
tens of
necessarily to
meters.
actually do the catch, but to see how
And
that
that'll
hardware
just
holds
be a
up
really
in
huge
those
step
spots.
on
And
feeling
today's
like
flight
we're
will help
closer
inform,
to bringing a ship
does
back.
the stainless steel hold
Obviously,
up like
there's a
we
lot of
think
work
it
before
may
we
based
get
on
there,
experiments that we
but
conducted on
we just
Flight
caught
5.
a booster.
Now, continuing to
We're
look,
gonna start
amazing
looking real
views. Yeah,
soon
Dan,
at
go
when
ahead.
We can catch a ship.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, there's so much on this flight that we're doing to
So the
try
view
and,
on your left
make
is
all the
as a
ships
helicopter
that were
passes
about
by
to start
Dan,
flying
bound at
even better,
Starbase.
just really understand what their
The view on your
capabilities are gonna
left
be.
is a
We've got
camera that's
kind of the
positioned near
next-gen
the
ship
nose of
lined up for Flight 7.
the
It's
ship,
got
looking
all of those heat shield
basically
upgrades
down
and
toward
everything.
the flap. The view
and one of
on
the things
the
that we're going
right
to be
is
doing
looking
that's
perpendicular
most
to the
interesting,
flap.
and
So we're
one of the
looking
reasons we want to
basically bird's eye
daylight is we're
view
going to
onto
be
the flap on the
flying
left-hand
pretty
side,
aggressively
and then
as ship
a
comes
worm's eye
in.
view
We're going to be kind
from
of
the
nose
side
down.
with that view on the
And
right.
We've done it in wind tunnels. We've done it in simulations. You might see
sorry
the
about
flaps
that, guys.
really
Maverick just
flapping
buzzed the
around trying to
tower.
control the vehicle. We're betting we might have a little bit more capability than we think in just the analysis, but
Now,
always
these
a chance
views
that doesn't pay
brought
off.
to us by
But that
Starlink.
just
It's
helps us know,
incredible
like,
that we
what
have
are-
this
what are our
Starship
high
is now halfway
definition
through the
capability.
heating
In fact,
phase of entry.
that view on the left.
Starship
Halfway
is now
there, halfway
through
home,
the
guys.
heating phase of entry, remains on a
Yeah, and
good
if you
trajectory.
guys again can follow along with the altitude and
So
the
great news
speed
there,
of
hearing
ship
that we're
as
about
it's
halfway
making its way
through
back down to
the,
Earth, bottom
the
right-hand
peak
corner
heating
of your
phase,
screen.
Like I said,
Speed
earlier,
is
this
still
last,
going
roughly
really,
10-ish
really fast.
minutes.
Again,
And we
as
did hear
it gets
earlier
closer
that
to
the flaps
Earth,
have control
we'll
of
see
the
that
vehicle,
altitude
so
drop
also
a little bit
good
faster.
news
It's kind
there.
of dropping pretty slow right
it is
now.
incredible that we've
and again, as we
basically
get
had
closer
views
and
the
closer
entire time.
to
Yeah.
literally the
Although
surface of the
memory
water,
did
then we'll
black
start
out
to
a
see
little
that
bit
speed pick
after
up.
booster catch, so I
And
think
if we can make it through this
but,
re-entry,
all through the coast phase,
we will
we had
attempt
some
to do that
beautiful
flip
views
maneuver
of
once
planet
again
Earth
and splash down in
behind
the
the
ocean.
ship as it
Exactly.
was in its orbit.
Like we've been saying,
And I also
we
do
are
want to point out
testing
on your right-hand
beyond
screen, we've got
the
a
perceived
more
limits
encompassed
of the
view
vehicle.
flap. As we watched in
want to
Flight
go learn
4,
more about the
hinge
ship, and this is a
area
great
was the
opportunity to do
area
that. So
where we
really
got a little
pushing
bit of
the
that
flight
burn through.
hardware
This
in a
view,
flight
this new camera
environment
view on the ship
to
will
help inform
help
these
us be able
future
to
designs.
visually see more of what's
As we've
happening
mentioned,
in that area.
it has a different
and again,
heat shield.
We
This
have
heat shield is
improved our heating tiles,
not
and so
the same
hopefully we've
generation as
protected
what
the
we
hinge
flew last
a
time.
lot
This
better
one
this
is
time.
one generation older. So
But again, these views
we are
are
also testing out new
additional,
secondary thermal protection
to the data that we
materials.
get
So
on
basically,
these
like
flight
if the
tests
heat shield
that
isn't in
help
this one
enable us
spot,
kind
can
of
this
put the
other
data that we
material
get in the
protect
computer,
the metal? Is
to the
thinking
visuals
there.
that we see and try and align
Also
those and
checking
and
of the
use that
ship's
for
structural
improvements in the
strength
future.
in those
Now, we heard a
areas
call
where
out
we're
there
looking
saying
to add
that
that
engine
ship
kill
catch
has
hardware.
begun.
Just to
This
see
is an
if it
indication
survives
that
entry.
we are starting
So,
to flow
yeah, as
a
we've been
little
saying,
bit of
we've
the
done
super
a
cold
lot of calculations
liquid
and
oxygen
simulations.
through
This
the
view right
hardware
here
through
is
the
super
Raptor
cool.
engine,
This is
specifically
looking
the turbo pumps,
out from
to help
the
ensure
aft
that
engine
the
bay,
hardware
basically at
is
the bottom
right
of
temperature
Starship.
before
Then
we
on
give a
the
full push,
center
a full
left-hand
flow of propellant
panel, if you
at
will,
engine
we
startup.
have one of the
So
forward
all of that to say,
Starship
we are getting
flaps,
closer to
flaps,
the
so one of the
getting dislocated at the top
We definitely
of the
are.
vehicle.
And again, if you look
Underneath
at
that
the
is
bottom
one of
right
the
hand of your
aft
screen, you
end
can see the
flaps,
altitude that the ship
like
is,
the one that
and
we
it
see
has
in the
been
main picture there on the
slowly
right-hand side of
making
your
its way
screen.
closer and closer
Now
to
these
Earth.
views
We're
as the
currently at
vehicle
about
continues to
63
enter the
kilometers
Earth's
from
atmosphere,
planet Earth.
drawing a crowd
You'll
once
see that
again
number,
here at SpaceX and
trend
Hawthorne as
lower and lower
folks
as
tune
we get
in
closer
as the
and
mission
continue through
continues
this
on.
re-entry.
Now, the
this
next
is going to go on
event that
for
we have
a
coming
little,
up,
actually a
we
while
should
longer. We
hear
have about
the
10
call
minutes or
out
so,
that
roughly,
the vehicle
before
is
we
transonic
execute the
around
the landing,
T plus
the
1
ignition
hour
for
and
the
2
landing
minutes
burn,
or so.
starting with the
That
landing
means
flip.
that the vehicle
So
is
we're making a
traveling
controlled re-entry.
near
This
the
is
speed
one
of sound.
of the primary
we say
objectives
near
for
the speed of
Starship
sound because
today
there's
is to
certain parts of
demonstrate
the vehicle
another
where
controlled
airflow is
re-entry,
going
even
faster,
more
and other
controlled
parts
than
where
what we
it's
saw
going
on
slower.
Flight
So
4.
it kind
And so
of
far,
teeters there on
that
the
is
brink
looking good.
of the speed of sound. So once we have equal flow on all parts, then we'll hear it subsonic.
As we start to
Well,
really
and
get lower,
almost
we're going to
real
start
quick, almost a
seeing
reverse
the
of.
atmosphere's
I'm
effects
sorry,
start to
Jesse.
take
Almost a
place, and
reverse
that's
of before we see the Earth
when we'll
starting to
start
come into view.
we'll be
We've
dropping
got-
our
we've
speed
got
down
sunrise there
closer to the speed of sound.
over the
You'll see
Indian
the
Ocean.
flaps
So
start
this
to
is
maneuver.
going to look different from any of the re-entries we've had
we
before.
were able to do a
And
landing
it was
burn on
specifically
Flight
so
4,
like
which
we get as much
kind
daylight
of
as
caught all
possible
of
to
us
see our
off
ship
guard. It
does
was
this.
pretty incredible after seeing the
Over to you,
flaps
Jesse.
survive
Sorry
through.
about that.
Dan,
And
you
we're gonna
great
try
minds
and
think
do
alike.
another
That's
one
exactly
on
what
this
I was going
flight
to point
today.
out is
We
that we're
tweaked it
getting a
little
lot
bit,
clearer view
so
of
we're
the
gonna
Earth in
try
the
and splash
background
down at
with
a
the
little
different
bit of a gentler
temperatures that we're
angle,
seeing with the different
this time
colors
instead of just kind
of that
hit the
plasma
water
around the
and
ship,
fall
which is
over.
really, really cool
And
to see.
the goal with that
Again,
is try and keep the ship intact.
we are
and then
pushing
if
the
we're
limits
able to
of ship
then
today.
get some additional video
but
of
so
it,
far,
again,
everything is
that's just more
looking
data.
pretty
And
nominal. We'll see how the next few minutes goes.
We can get extra,
like we've said
like
before,
a couple
don't be
extra
surprised
seconds or
if
minutes
this
of
is
data
not
coming from the
entirely
ship after
smooth
flash
sailing all the way down to the
approaching
ocean
maximum entry
surface.
dynamic pressure.
Similar to Flight 5, we are targeting the same
All right,
splashdown
we're
location
through peak
in the
heating.
Indian
Coming up
Ocean,
is
but we
basically
are
max
not
Q part
expecting
2,
to recover
where
the vehicle.
Right, and
We're
we
gonna
were getting
hit
some
kind of
glimpses
that
of
part
the
of the
flaps.
curve
The
where
flaps so far
we're still moving
are looking
really
pretty
fast,
good.
and
We're not
the
seeing
atmosphere is
any
just
burn
dense
through.
enough
There's
that
those
we're
flaps
feeling
again
the most
in that
pressure,
hinge area,
but
which is our most
hopefully we're gonna
concerning
start
area
feeling a
there.
little bit less heat
That's
now.
great news for us for now. Again, the next few minutes could change as we continuously push those limits. We got more views of each of the flaps
once we
on the
slow
ship
down
as it's
a little
making
bit,
its way back
once we're
down to
subsonic
Earth.
essentially, so I think that's about 1,200 kilometers an hour.
And we did pass
once
through
we're down
peak
below
heating
that,
and
that's
still
when we're
got
going to kind
really
of
good
dip our
views
nose
throughout
down
that whole period.
and get that
Typically,
more
during
aggressive
the
angle
highest
of attack. Normally we're
heat
just
on the
belly
vehicle,
flop right into the water,
we tend to build
pretty
up a
much
lot
that
of
position.
plasma, and that's typically
but
when we
if
would
we're going to be able to do
lose,
return
you know,
to launch
connections
sites,
or
we're going to want to
views
be able
of the
to
vehicle.
fly
But
with
again,
a little
with
bit more of an
Starlink, we
angle
were
of
able to
attack,
get
get you a
some
little
live
bit
views
more
throughout
range
that
as you're
entire
coming
process
through.
there.
And so this will be just a test to see quite how far can we push
And
it.
we're
But
coming
obviously
up.
we're
We'll
going to do
start
these
hearing
kind
a
of
couple more
tests
milestones
way
in
out
about
here
4
in
minutes
super
or
remote
so,
areas
when we
before
start
you
getting
ever
down
try to bring
like
a
the
ship back to a
transonic, the
place like
subsonic,
Starbase.
when
Starship remains on a
we're
good
starting
entry
to move
trajectory.
closer
External
to and
temperatures are
beneath
coming
the
down.
speed of sound. And
All right, great news there. That tells us that we are through the phase of
We've got a
peak
couple
heating.
additional
So we are
tests on this
expecting
one today where we left
these
off some
temperatures to
missing
continue
tiles
to
again
come down.
to
Once again,
to
we
test some
are
additional
targeting
backup
a
layers.
soft splashdown
We
in the
also
Indian
have, I don't
Ocean.
know if we can still quite see them in
around
this view, but you
off
may
the
have noticed we
northwest
had some
coast of
kind of silvery looking
Australia. We can
tiles
see these
on-
beautiful
on
views
Starship
of planet
as well.
Earth coming
And
in. Yeah, this
those
is very
were
different, where we had
pretty much standard
nighttime
tiles, but they were
views
wrapped in
of
aluminum.
the ship
And
as
it
it
was
was
a pretty
re-entering. And now we've got daylight.
simplistic,
It is about an hour or
straightforward
so
one where
after
aluminum
sunrise
starts to
there
melt
in the
at
Indian Ocean.
roughly
So
the same
pretty cool
temperature
to see
where
this.
steel starts to
Yeah, and it
lose
might
its
not
strength,
seem like it
not
makes a huge
necessarily
difference,
melt.
but we do get a little bit more
And
light
so
on
if we-
ship as well for
if
the
we
camera
see
views
stuff
that we
melting,
have,
we know-
which is very beneficial for us to visually see anything
our steel's
and
gonna be exposed
try
to,
and
but,
correlate that to any of the sensors
59
or data
minutes
that we
since
have
launch
on
should
the
be coming
vehicle.
up on-
Exactly. That
on
is why
transonic
we
and everything,
shifted
just
our
about 3
launch
minutes.
window so that we could have that daylight in order to improve
the
our
views here,
observations
we
of the
have
vehicle.
coverage
So
of
not
all
only are we
4
getting all the
flaps,
raw data from
we
all
can
the
see,
sensors that are on board
so for those
Starship,
that perhaps
but
didn't
we
catch
also
a
have
glimpse
multiple
of the vehicle
cameras and
before,
different assets out there
are two
that
flaps
are
at the
watching
forward
the vehicle
end
and will
and
also
two
be able to
flaps
tell
at
us
the aft
with
end.
this visual story.
The larger
that is
camera
also very,
view
very
that is
important.
there on the right-hand side of your screen,
And as
that
we
is a
get
view
down
of
a
one
little
of the
bit
aft
lower,
end or the
Raptor
bottom
engines
end
are in their
flaps.
chill phase right now, so
We can start to
just
see
essentially
some
getting
heat
them
build up
primed
and
to
peeking
turn
through
on.
on one of the
We're gonna
flaps
use
there in the
those
top
3 center
left-hand
engines,
corner of your screen.
to do a landing flip and then a landing burn. So we'll come down kind of in that slightly pointed down belly flop and then fire off those engines. to flip us around
Once
and
again,
then do that
Starship
final
now
landing burn. That
at
should be
T
coming up
plus
in
1 hour
just a
and
little
9
over,
seconds
just under 5
into
minutes
its
from
flight
now.
today,
And then
re-entering
hopefully
the
we start
Earth's
hearing
atmosphere.
some call-outs on
Currently
transonic
about
and
45
subsonic as we slow
kilometers
down.
above
Again,
the surface
once,
of the Earth.
once
now
you hear
44.
Starship as subsonic,
we are targeting
keep a close
soft
eye on the flaps.
splashdown in the
They're going to
Indian
be
Ocean,
working overtime essentially to maintain control of the ship as we get a little more aggressive
and we
with
are
this.
attempting to, as we did on Flight 4, make a perform a flip maneuver as well as
Starship is at
We can
maximum
see
entry
that
dynamic
we
pressure.
are beginning.
Starship has passed maximum entry dynamic pressure.
All right, so that is great news there.
All right,
like
great
Dan
call out
said
there,
earlier,
but
this
we
is
can
basically
see on this view
max
here that we do
Part
have
2.
some heating there.
So this is the
that looks like one of the
greatest
forward
amount
flaps
of,
on Starship.
Of aerodynamic
This
loads
is
that the vehicle
to be
will
expected.
experience
We
during
knew
its
that
flight,
the
coming
vehicle
back through the Earth's
would
atmosphere.
perform differently than what
was,
we had seen
above the
on
Earth's
Flight
atmosphere
5.
in space where
This
there was
is
no friction.
actually
We
really
can
good
obviously
data
see,
because it tells us
heat
what
as a,
parts of the vehicle
evidence of that
at
friction
this,
buildup. The
what
atmosphere is
will
actually
soon
helping
be a
to
higher
slow the
angle of
vehicle
attack once
down.
we
If you're
drop down
watching the telemetry in the
below the
bottom
speed of
right-hand
sound.
side, right
We'll have a higher angle
screen
of
tap.
attack.
See that
We'll
speed
be flying
accelerating
down, basically.
rapidly.
So yeah, this is good news, but we can actually, looks like that heating is starting to cool off there.
Yeah, it's a little burn through. Again, it is important to note when we start seeing that through
one of
the
the
ship's
main
descent
objectives
as well.
for the
So
ship today
like Kate was saying,
is to
we're getting some really good data here. Looks like
during this
the
phase
other
of flight,
flaps
this
are
re-entry
doing
phase.
a little better than the one that has a little burn through, which is some good news.
We have 6 engines on
constantly
ship,
watching.
but we
We've got
only need 3 of them.
couple
the 3
minutes until
sea-level
we're
engines.
expecting to make
We
it all
will
the way
have
back
that
down
flip
to Earth.
maneuver happen very close
Exactly.
to touching
And
down
like
for
we said
splashdown.
before,
We'll do that flip maneuver.
we are not
ignite those
expecting
engines,
to recover the
slow
ship,
vehicle down
although
immediately.
that would be great.
And then
That'd be
hopefully
a nice
have
bonus if it happened,
what we
but
call
it's
a
not
soft
really
splash.
in our expectations
What we call
today.
a soft splashdown.
If we really want to push the
It's probably
hardware,
going
as
to
we've
feel a
been
little bit
saying.
harder.
But really,
top
the
of surface of
telemetry
the water,
and the data
but it'll
and
look pretty
the
gentle.
video
and
that
like
we
we said
receive all the
earlier, we
way
hope
to
to have
the
some
end
more
is
views
truly
even of
what we're
that
looking
phase
for, and
of
will
the
help
flight.
inform
So fingers
the future
crossed that we
designs
can
of this
that
vehicle.
we can bring those to you.
We could see some flap movement as the camera is moving
hoping
around.
to splash down
That's
softer
what
than
you're
we did
seeing
last
there is
time
the
on
flaps
Flight 4.
adjusting. We have a
Right now,
camera
Starship
on one of the
continuing
flaps
to make
there.
its descent
That we're,
back to
Starship
this
is
is the
at
view that
Mach
you're
2,
seeing
remains
there.
on a good trajectory.
All right, great news there. That tells us
And you
that
can
the
also see the
vehicle
graphic
is
in the
traveling
bottom.
Starship is slowing
more
down
than,
past
is
Mach
traveling
1.
twice the speed of sound. So
And
we will then, the next
call outs
that
aligning
we'll
with this.
hear
You can
is
see
that
the
it
orientation
is,
of the vehicle starting to
traveling about the
change. You
speed
can
of
follow that
sound.
graphic at
And
the
then we
bottom
will
of your
hear a
screen.
call out that it is,
Again, that is why those flaps are changing. They
and then we
control
will
the
hear
orientation
another
of the
call
vehicle.
out saying that it is subsonic.
Yeah, there are
meaning
four.
going slower than
Go ahead, Dan.
Starship has started the subsonic belly flop, remains on a good trajectory.
There it is. So
I
at
was
this
going to say this is when things
So at
will
this
start
point
to
in
get a little
time,
interesting. So this is
we
when
say
we're
transonic
moving
because
slower
certain
than
parts of the
speed of
vehicle,
sound. You
like
can
the
see
flap
that
that you
nose
see
slowly
on your
start
screen,
to tip down.
might be experiencing
We're gonna try and
airflow
maintain flight
faster than the
control
speed of
right
sound.
away. Yeah, just a couple minutes away from hopefully doing the
While
landing
other
flip.
parts of the ship may be experiencing
Landing flip and landing
airflow.
burn
Starship is
if
a
the flaps can
subsonic
hold
belly
together.
flop.
Yeah, this is such a cool
right, so
view.
now the
This
entire
reminds
vehicle
me
is traveling
of
slower
when
than
we
the speed of
first
sound, so
performed the
subsonic.
belly flop
The
maneuver
crowd
on
here
the
at
high
Mission Control
altitude test with
Hawthorne
serial
also
number
getting
8.
excited,
We
just
saw
like us.
the
We're
ship come
awaiting,
back through, and I
a
always
water
wondered
landing.
what
We
it
are
looked
gonna
like from the
reignite
ship's
the three
perspective, and
engines to perform
this
that flip
perspective I think
maneuver,
helps
and
inform
we're
that. We will be,
basically,
as Dan said, we will be
about a
dipping
minute and a half
down a little
away
further
from
and
the
we'll be
landing
flying
flip.
nose first.
Yeah, the
This
crowd's
higher
getting
angle of
excited
attack,
here as we get
you know,
closer
we're
and closer
intentionally doing it to
splashdown.
stress
Again,
those
just about
aft
a minute
flaps,
away from the
and
expected
that will help
splashdown, so
inform
we
the
should
limits
see
of
a lot
flap
happening,
control in order to
coming
collect
up
data
here
for
shortly.
future landing
We're
profiles.
currently having a view of one of the flaps, and it is a little bit dark on your screen, but hopefully we'll get some good
I mean,
views
we're
of
looking
the ship
good so
as
far.
it makes that
We've
flip
just got about
maneuver
5
and,
kilometers in altitude to
touchdown
go.
for splashdown.
Yeah, the
We'll
guys,
ignite the
we
engines when
saw
we're still
that-
just a
we
couple
saw that
hundred
speed
meters
drop like a
over the
rock, so
ground.
we're
Do that
basically
flip,
we're doing
Starship
a
has
belly
passed
flip
through
right
5
now.
kilometers
We're belly
altitude,
flap right
remains
now.
on a
That's
good
what's kind of,
trajectory.
if you saw
I
the
have a
high
feeling this is
altitude
going to look
campaign,
so cool
that's
as it passes
the unique
through the
thing about how
clouds.
Starship comes back. So we've bled off pretty much all
Obligatory
of the speed we're
shout out
going
to
to,
the
or
entire
essentially at
avionics team
terminal
on Starship.
velocity.
Starship is at 5 kilometers altitude, remains on
And there's that nose down orientation.
5 guys coming up soon, landing burn.
Now the Raptor engines will relight and help flip the booster back up. This is a more severe flip given the orientation. The engines will shut down prior to the water making impact, prior to the vehicle making impact with the water.
Our ship is doing great so far. There's those engines relighting.
What a great reorientation by Starship.
Wow.
All three down to 2 into the water.
Wow. And we have ship splashed down in the Indian Ocean.
Some awesome buoy cam action here. Daylight views. An incredible view. I think it is safe to say
Incredible. We really pushed the limits on ship and it made it all the way back down to Earth.
I am shocked, to be honest. I think many folks are. The fact that it survived all the way through while flying a lesser gen heat shield is just absolutely incredible. And turns out the vehicle had more capability than our calculations predicted. And that is why we test like we fly.
Exactly why we do that. And those views were absolutely incredible to watch. Because of Starlink, we were able to get the views all the way down, as well as the buoys, seeing ship touchdown in daylight.
So cool. So cool. Now we want to, unfortunately, wrap up the show.
Yeah, exactly. We'll say congratulations to our teammates at SpaceX and to everyone who supported the Starship program. And thank you to all of our future customers for your support.
We'd also like to thank the people of Cameron County, Texas, as well as the Coast Guard, the Federal Aviation Administration, the Government of Mexico, and the Australian Space Agency.
Pretty specific spot, so wow.
Be sure to.
What a day. I feel like that's all. That's what I get to say. What a day. I mean, everything started off.
Hey guys,
today
I could take it from here. That was just incredible to see that splash
towards
down.
the end of our window.
As you said, thanks to everybody that took such a huge part in this. Everybody here at Starbase that's worked on this program, just really pouring your lives into it.
Successful hot stage.
Great to see
Booster
another
came
booster
back.
lift
We
off. We'll
watched it
catch
come
it the next
down.
time. Great to see ship in the water. New version of ship coming soon, so a lot more exciting launches coming up real soon here from Starbase.
We had coast for a bit, but
I'll send us out this time. We'll see you
booster
guys next time.
catch, major step on the way to rapid reusability. And
Awesome.
Ship just
Thanks, Dan.
gave us one
Be
heck
sure
of
to
a
follow
show, making it
SpaceX on
through
X
a
for
controlled
updates and
re-entry
more
this time.
exciting
Flaps
views that we
intact,
weren't
made it
able
down
to
the
feature
water.
on today's broadcast.
I'm sure there will be plenty of those.
Starships remember
Now, thanks to all of you for
sure as
tuning
hell
in,
flew
and
today.
we'll see you
So
next time.
Let's get